Okay, so in this video, I will be going over rallying PvP along with a little bit with your team as well, because there is a reason why you do keep losing, and I just really want to clarify why you do, but I'll go into that later, because right now I'm going to go straight into like the rallying. So with rallying, the most important thing is about the totems, the feed, and the toys. The best way to start with rallying is focus on the personalities. The personalities are like the positives and the negatives. And you can decide if you want to have two big negatives. You can decide if you want like two negatives, but one very, very good positive. And that would be with this totem. I would personally suggest the totem that I'm using right now because it gives you two positives and just one very bad negative. And if you do search up the main like move set, you can just have the negative or like the bad attack, or like the attack that basically never gets used, and then you can just have a whole entire team full of like attack and range and all that type of stuff. So that is something I would suggest. To start off with just getting like personalities, I would suggest using the ball or the Rubik's Cube. This is because this will help with getting like the personality you want, and it will just generally help. Because with the ball, it basically gives you a positive of the rally leader. With the cube, it gives you a positive from the rally assistant. So since I'm using a cube, I would definitely get nimble because that's the positive from Gargoyle. So that's something to keep in mind. And when you have the personality you want, I would suggest going to the yo-yo because that literally cancels out the totem, and it will literally just focus on the stats on here, or like health, defense, attack, and all that type of stuff. Something else as well with rallying is you do want to have a lot of options when it comes down, so you do want to have quite a lot of like roaming Lumions for the fact of because they will be used as a rally assistant. Like right now I'm using Gargoyle because it has quite a lot of good stats which I want to pass on to the others. But if I was to use, but I could technically use her. I could use any of these, any of like the actual proper rare ones. I could use them if I wanted to. But like I'm paying more attention to getting like good stats, and I don't have to do too much to them. So that's something else to keep in mind. So I'd never use the yo-yo first. Just never use it first. Focus on the personality first, and then do the yo-yo. And rallying would also help with you with doing your PvP as well, since then you can just get like the personality you want and just everything else. So rallying is very important in like PvP, so I think that's literally why it's there, literally to help you with PvP, and that's about it. Right. Now, we are going to do PvP, your least favourite thing, but you need to learn. Right, now I'm going to go straight into the PvP side. So, with PvP, the problem with your team is that most of them are dark and spirit types, which means it's quite easy to get them down if you have the right Lumions. Especially since with Lumion, because most people will have a very variety of different types in their team. They won't just have a bunch of spirits, and I do understand that those are just your level 50s. But like level up more level 50s, no offense, but you do need to level up more level 50s if you want to stand a chance in PvP and against me, because I have a bunch of level 50s which I can use against you. But you do need to have a variety and just generally have a variety with your team. Like, I'm also gonna show you an example. Nope, probably has left again. Okay. Like, you do just need a variety with your team with spirits and stuff. If I do ever get challenged again, I will also show you something else that I was going on about. Because never have 5 people in your team. Have a full-on team. Have also the bottom 2 down as well, because then you just have something to prepare. Sorry, it's just I woke up, so and this just crossed my mind because I did record one last night, but it was just absolutely horrible and boring. I didn't want to suffer you with that, so I'm trying to make this one as short and snappy and as informative as possible, and actually me moving around. So yeah. But anyway, you do need to have a variety and not just have 5 on your team, because you need to have at least, you need to have the bench ones as well there, because then you just have extra Lumians that you can use if it's somebody who has if it's someone who has how do I say this, who doesn't have much of a link between them all, because with my team it's quite, because for my team I basically have a team that's good with destroying your team, no offense, but when it comes down to dark and spirit types, it's just easy to demolish them. So that's just something I want to point out, that you do need to get rid of some of your dark and spirits types, and definitely level up Dakuda and Vesper, because Vesper would be very good at level 50. I will say he would be he would be good when it comes down to Vesper would be good when it comes down to I think types of Lumians. I don't know what Lumians, but I generally feel he would be very good in PvP, but you do need to level him up. With Dakuda, it depends on his stats, really. It depends on his personality and his stats. And just generally the stats need to be good along with the personality. And if it's not that good, I wouldn't suggest bringing Dakuda in, because it's just, Dakuda's a water electric type, or just a really a water. And if I were to bring in Florence, I could easily just destroy you, because of the fact that he's a very low level, so he's very low level, so obviously that affects his moves. Also, something with the battles, when you pick the level 50s, level 100s, it makes them go up to that level, and then you do also get it puts all the other stats to the top, so you will be faster than me at all the level 50s. So him here, well, I can see is basically what I'm going on about, because I could basically practically see your whole entire team. And it's just good to have a team that's a little bit more hidden, and just having a bunch of different types of options. Because now I have a hard time guessing, and bringing out Lumians that would actually be good for the fight. I would probably bring in Mutagon, but he's a little bit of a low HP right now. But I'll bring him in it anyway, because he's my only option. So it's something to keep in mind when you do go into battles. So, well, I didn't know this, No, do that, then, you know. So, something to keep in mind. Along with battling, you do generally have to think and know, like, the types as well. If you don't know the types, if you don't know, like, the types of them, you do need to remember them and just have them in your mind, because it's very important to know the types, because then you know who to bring out, who's going to be effective, and just all that type of stuff. Like, we've got, like, the reason why I brought this Mutagon, I always bring Mutagon out first, because Mutagon's a lot more of like a tank, and I want to keep him out, because Mutagon's just a general tank. And having Mutagon is just generally a good starter for me to have going. Oh no. Sorry, just tired. Right. So, since he's a light and a spirit type, I think spirits are quite strong against ancient types, but this is just ice, oh for God's sake. I'm going to try to do... I'm going to do Frost Beam, let's see how that goes. Oh, first. I'm not normally first, ever. Okay. Okay, that's nerve-wracking. But yeah, Char can be quite OP in games, depending if you use him right. But you do generally need to use him quite right, and I don't like have zero mistakes, if you know what I mean. So do remember that. Mirror is a metal and spirit type, so bringing out Char would be a good idea, but obviously having both spirit types out would not be a very good idea, so I'm tempted to sacrifice Crystal. You do have to generally think of PvP, like if you don't think of PvP, you're just going to be an absolute, you're not going to make it, like, just not going to make it, so you do need to generally quite, like, think with this, because if you don't think right or correctly, you're just not going to make it, you're just not going to make the cut, and you're just not really going to get by, so you do need to remember that. Right, so since he's a metal and a spirit type, Char would be quite useful, but I think major effectiveness is metal, but I'm not really 100% sure, so, like, my second safety net is usually Surflox, but like, obviously he's a little bit of like a wild card for me. Because he's spirit type, and his spirit move is appetition, and if he were to use spirit move, it would just be Jalo's problem. I'm going to bring out Char. I'm most likely going to lose this battle because I'm not actually properly good for PvP at all. So, yay, I won. Nice. I don't know why you forfeited. I generally do not know why you forfeited. I think you would have won, but yeah. But that is basically what I'm going on about like where you can see the other teams, because with you, I can literally predict. I basically knew your whole entire team format just by seeing it, and I just had more of an idea on what to do. So it's just something to look out for if you are going to do PvP competitively. So do keep that in mind. So, and in PvP, I would generally suggest, having a good team ready. Just generally have a Do you mean that's going to be a tent for you? Literally going to be your supporter and just always be ready and out there. And yeah, the reason why I bring Dakuda in because I have two really super effective ones against them right now, like two here. So that's why I'm bringing him in. I'll bring Char in at the front just in case, because Char seems like he will be like the one being used, so. Okay, so he's bringing out Snacky first. Snacky is an air and something else. I'm not that sure about the other one. An air and something else. I just can't remember like what else it is. Metal maybe? I've never actually ever encountered Sneak or anything like that, so I'm trying to figure out what he truly is, if you know what I mean. So yeah. And Dakuda's early survive that. Right, so I'm basically going to sacrifice really Dakuda here, because if Dakuda does come first, then I would obviously get that, but I didn't. Okay, he might be a air and water type, something like that. So I'm not going to bring Flora out, because Flora would not be a good idea at all. Probably a best option would probably be Mutagon, because of the fact that he has a lot more variety of moves. Oh, he has Frost Punch and all that type of stuff. So I'll probably do Serial Slash because it's the second most powerful move. So okay, Mutagon, stop getting poisoned. Ugh, sorry about these noises. I know you can hear noises. Mutagon, you need to stop getting yourself poisoned. Let's stop it. But Mutagon in my team is what is like the tank of the team. Because one, he has like a relative way he can tank a hit, which is always great. Always great news for me. Mutagon, you're useless, right? But like, obviously my problem with my whole entire team is that they're slow. And having a slow team isn't good at all. It's not like a good thing. And like, it's just terrible having a slow team. So I do need to get like a faster team. And he is most likely going to win. Oh, he's a grass type. We did not know this. Okay. So if he is a grass type, for one, okay, now it's lower energy, so I'm going to bring out Florentine and see. Yeah, but see, he's a grass type. That's all I need to know. God, to have the information. Oh no, I know what he actually probably is. So yeah, but he's a grass type, so I do honestly have him. But it's just something to remember, really, because I think he's a fire and grass type. I'm not happy with that. So it's something to remember. It's probably too late to use the Soul Burst, I must admit, but like, Soul Burst, let's go. But if you are going to do PvP competitively, you do need to have a variation and just not have a bunch of spirits and dark types. So do remember that. And I'll go into your team basically after this, because I basically gave you the montage of PvP really, because all you really do need to know is using rallying and just having a good team. Sea Drake is OP against my team right now, so I think this is my last one. Right, and so yeah, that is basically the Montage of PvP, and see, I'm not OP. He defeated me. So that is something to keep in mind. And now I'm gonna go into your team, and basically, I'm just gonna go into them for you because, like, yeah, I'm just gonna go into that. Back. Sorry about that. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. With your team, it mainly consists of Dark and Spirit types, which is a sort of a bad thing because of the challenge link. Because you have literally a whole entire like chain link of Dark and Spirit types. So every time I pull out chart, it's going to be like OP against you because it can literally one-shot them. And the only thing that really gives you like the advantage is the fact that you're faster, but like really it's not a good idea to have a whole entire like chain of them because it's just not a good idea at all. It's just it's a whole entire like you just set yourself up for failure every time when you do that. So yeah, I'm slightly disappointed with you, Ikazune, for the reason of that it is defense. The main defense isn't very good because the long range defense is literally so important because of the fact that because that's the main thing that people are going to use when it comes down to PvP, because they don't pay much attention to like the melee defense because not many people actually use like melee attacks for the reason of with those melee attacks you can be at risk of certain like personality traits, like when you were using your Batlumion on me, it wouldn't technically work. The reason why I got a toxic was because my Florent had a personality trait of it has a possibility of like poisoning you, paralyzing you, putting you to sleep, all that type of stuff. And like it's just a big risk having that. So I am slightly disappointed that he did sort of waste it. But like he is still good, it's just like there's a big bad thing there. So it's just because Ikazune would be quite a good one in PvP, but it's just like the personality isn't very good. So yeah, plus the moveset, generally like the moveset is quite good. But I would probably suggest having more fire type moves, but I don't know. But yeah, I would probably suggest having more fire type moves. And obviously I don't know if I mentioned this in the rallying, but I'm going to mention it again if I have. He wouldn't, since you don't actually know his last stats, what you use the shards for, none of that would literally be passed on to like the rallying of the Lumion. None of that would really be passed on. So, like, that's the problem I have because, so basically, I wouldn't suggest using Ikazune for literally, for rallying at all because he's just not going to be, because you don't actually know what stats he has. And you don't know if they were actually good beforehand. And none of that would really be passed on, like none of the 5-star golds would actually be passed on to your rallied Lumions. So that's the thing. So I wouldn't suggest using Ikazune for like rallying at all. Like you can keep him for PvP, but like obviously like the personality with the fact that it's like foolish means its defense isn't very good. So that is one of the problems. Now I'm gonna go into your other Pokemon. So yeah, that is your. So the reason why I have pictures because just to let you know what bloom I'm gonna be talking about right now is Ikazune is literally can be quite OP in PvP, but because of its personality trait that it's sluggish. That it's foolish it's your really like big downfall because most people will be using long range attack, and the fact that your long range defense is below an average Ikazune, it's not a good thing to have. But he can still be quite strong. You just have to be really, really careful when it comes down to if it's like someone that's super effective, like with my spider, it's a water and dark type. The only reason why I'm, like, to be honest, I'm still surprised I actually lived through that with 1 HP. But like, anyway, if you had like maybe a stronger like long range defense, you might have actually been able to live longer through my water bomb, because the water bomb is like, because with that attack it does only like 60 mad damage, so it's not that strong. I don't believe it's not stronger than my other one, which is tsunami, which I can use against you. So possibly if your range defense was actually like higher or wasn't foolish, you might have actually lived a lot more longer and you would have defeated me a lot more sooner. So that's just something to keep in mind when it comes down to your Ikazuns. Just be careful when it comes down to like water and earth types with Ikazun, because that is its major weakness. It doesn't have like any anything below, like it only has like major weaknesses, which is water and earth. So that's the thing. So just keep an eye out for those. I'm now going to go into your Halvantic. With Halvantic, I've been seeing, like when I was just like finding images, I've also saw like a video that apparently Halvanta can be quite good if you have like if you get the right personality, the right like moves and the right stats. He can be quite good in PvP, but you do generally need to know what you're doing with him, or otherwise you just don't have a very good, or otherwise it's just not, or Halvanta just will not be very helpful for you. Like, I'm trying to figure out. So, I wish I could found just like an indifferent Halvanta or something. But you know, I can't do that. With Halvanta, its health isn't great. Its health generally just isn't great. It's like 114. But apparently it is actually good for PvP, even though it has that disadvantage. Like, it's normal HP, so it varies from like an average type of Lumion. So that's just something to keep in mind. And something that's really important would definitely be the speed, but apparently Halvante can be quite a good Lumion to have in PvP. So that is just something that I would say. I don't know anything about your like stat types with your other Lumions, so I can't really give you much advice with them and just what to be aware of. But if it's something to do with like defense, to be honest, I would really suggest probably rallying that Halvanta you have and changing random personalities and getting like better stats, and probably training it up yourself with level 50s. No power fruits, please, because like I think with the power fruits it's just quicker it is quicker, but I think it does also like affect with your like attack and everything else, because I think when you're in battle it also gives them more of a boost with that type of stuff as well. But I'm not 100% sure. Like, I'm not 100% sure, but like I think when it does come to actual battling, I think if you were to actually do like battling against trainers and you're just leveling up without the power fruits, I think it does expand your blue bit a lot more and expands it a lot more, and it makes them a lot more stronger than using the power fruits. But that is just something I think, and that's just something like I believe, but it's up to you whether you believe it or not. So yeah, so I would suggest keeping Halvanta, but definitely like rallying it, trying to get the right personality traits, and just getting it into a good position. Like, I can show you one of my Roblox that I'm rallying that I'm probably going to use for PvP. I'll show you one of those later. after I actually talk more about your Lumens. So with Dakuda, he is just a water type, so you do have to be careful with electric types because those are major effective against Dakuda. And something else to also keep in mind with Dakuda is that he is also an electric type. So bringing, like, he has electric moves, to be honest. I don't know why it doesn't have like water and electric both on it, to be honest, but it's one of those things. But with Dakuda, I don't know much about him when it comes down to PvP because I don't actually use him that much in like PvP. But I think he can be quite good because of but he's a lot more of one that goes, you have to go straight forward. He's a lot more of a melee attack type one. And he's a lot more of like a front attack one than really like a below, than anything like below that. So it's just one of those things I think with him. Like, I will probably double check that later after I'm finished with this, but I wouldn't really have Dakuda on like a PvP team for the fact that since he is quite new, you don't actually know if he will be quite good with PvP. He's quite a risk taker. But it's up to you whether you have him on your team or not. It's just something I wouldn't really have him on my team. Like, someone that I would probably suggest to replace Dakuda would definitely be like someone who has like a lot more moves variation and a lot more like a tank, like with my Mutagon. Because I always have him on because he's my wild card, let's say, because he has so much more moves, plus he can actually tank a hit. So if you were to do like, because if he did have a really strong move and it was going to one shot him, he would get to 1 HP first try. So he would be like my safety net, really. So it's usually good to have someone like Mutagon. If you want help with trying to get one, just let me know and I can try and help you. So that's just a little bit about Dakuda that I wouldn't really suggest him having on a PvP team. And plus, since he's also like level 31, it's not very good because, like, one, it's level 31, so he's a lot more easier to kill than average, than having him at like level 50. Because in PvP, like, everything basically moves up to a level 50 except for the moves. And if you had like the moves as well that's at level 50, you would stand a lot more of a chance. So it's just something that I will keep in mind. Now with your Vesper, your Batlumian, it's a Dark and Spirit type. So I'm a little bit like naggy with your Dark and Spirit types because it's not good to have a linked chain in there, because having a linked chain just means that 2 of your Lumens will be down in a blink second just by them knowing that you have like 2 dark types. So it's good to have like a variation. Along with then, if you have a variation, you can also be able to sweep in and just have Lumens that will be effective. And it's just really with like luck chance as well. But having 2 spirit types in a team would not be helpful in PvP at all, because they can easily just like defeat you. So it's just one of those things I would point out. So with Vesper, he's more of a good one when it comes down to like the actual like game, not the actual like PvP side, because it's just he's just not one of those Lumens you can kind of trust when it comes down to PvP. So it's just something I would say. I don't really know what much to say with him, because it's just, I wouldn't suggest him having on your PvP team at all. I'll more suggest with him just being there with your role-playing type of side of the game instead of it. Because he's not one of those Lumens you can kind of use in PvP, to be honest. But that's just my opinion. I'll kind of sort of replace him with someone better, really. But I'll do some research up on him, because I don't actually know much about him. But I wouldn't really suggest keeping him with PvP. That's just something I would say. Now with your Dusket, with the right moves, I think he would be decent. Like, he would be decent. But you don't actually have the moves really for him. You have the moves really a lot more for, like, doing the roaming. So I will keep Dusket on the team, to be honest, because he's not much of a one you can trust when it comes down to that. So it's just something I wouldn't really keep him. So that's just something I'm going to say. Now, the reason why I have him here, there's a reason why I have this. It's because that would be something that Zulong would be quite a decent Zulong there. Getting like a secret move along with that type of sort of status would be quite good. But I think it would be good for it to be generally like most of it being natural. But that's just something I would say. And that's really just all I really want to say about your team, because this is getting quite long. So I'm just going to end it there because I tried to help you as much as I possibly can. And hopefully this made sense. I don't know if it did, but hopefully it did make sense. And I hope this helped. If it hasn't, I'm sorry I couldn't be much of use, but hopefully this helps. And I'll see you in game. Bye.